Audionovelas 2.0, Jiji.
Dream of the World ETX 3567. In another world, in a castle, a king was desperately shouting and giving orders, "Look for him no matter what you have to do, we need to find him before he arrives, not anymore, we have time left." With each minute that passed, the king's gaze became more and more worried. He will come, the same thing will happen again, the gods will cry again, that history will not repeat itself again, and it was heard the church bell, implying that it was already 12 noon. And where before was the lack of control and a warm Sunday, suddenly everything suddenly calmed down, nothing was heard, the animals, both domestic and wild, stood still. This was due to a presence that imbued the entire castle with a thick and heavy aura. From one second to the next, what was a warm light turned into the darkest and most sinister night, where you could only see 3 meters away and with difficulty. Then another scream began to be heard. "Where is? I told you to keep an eye on him." Everyone's teeth gnashed and only one responded, the king, who was on the floor curled up in himself, trembling with fear. The king was alone, because seeing the inevitable arrival of the most dangerous being in the world, he sent his wife and daughters to the royal room to prevent them from being involved in the current situation. The king replied with teeth gnashing in fear, No, we don't know, excuse us for our incompetence." The aura and pressure that was felt throughout the castle, I increase again, like you don't know where it is, I told you to keep a constant eye on it, SSS yes, just pa paso that the cult of the worshippers of the Demon King took coconut as an offering. Once more, but this time the intensity increased 5 times more. "You're telling me that my little one was given to some Demon King shit as an offering?" Everyone in the royal room could not bear the pressure and fainted. The only one who was still barely holding on was the king, because the fate of his entire kingdom was in his actions. A single mistake and they would be eradicated and nothing could stop him. Then suddenly, the pressure and the darkness disappeared and everything returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. In the castle of the Demon King. A Demon King, he was pale from the current situation before himself, where he was looking forward to a surprise from his most extreme worshippers. The king expected gold, objects of high value or relics, even people of the nobility would be welcome to bribe the kingdom. But what he saw wrapped in a blanket was a boy tied up and gagged, with slight visible blows from a hard battle he gave when he was captured. When the king saw him, he could not do anything more than shout, "Hey, H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A." The child who had been given to him as an offering had the mark on his arm and was shining slightly. The fanatical worshippers did not know it. Since few in the world knew what that mark means, it is a scorpion-shaped mark with the tail and tip of the stinger in black. The king, 6 of his highest-ranking subordinates knew what that mark symbolized. Depending on the situation, the mark can symbolize 2 things. The first is for those who are not recognized by it. The meaning would be the one who carries the worst curse of all, for these people who have the brand. By law, and it is the only universal law, it dictates that the one who possesses the mark must not be touched or disturbed, for those who are discovered to possess the mark will be completely separated from all law and guilt. Why, they will be judged in less than 7 days by an entity unknown to the world. And for those who are recognized by the mark, they will be blessed by abilities and good health. The level of the blessing varies depending on how much the scorpion is dyed. Only 5 recognized carriers have been discovered in 1,000 years, and more than thousands who, in acts of stupidity and greed, have made themselves branded and painted black. All of those who were not recognized died in an atrocious way without exceptions. For this reason it is recognized much more as a cursed mark. After 5 seconds the Demon King rolled back, his legs shaking, and ordered his subordinates, "Immediately get him out of this place as far away as possible, quickly." The Demon King was pale due to his status as demon and king, granting him a much longer life than his subordinates and kin. This allowed him to live long enough to be able to witness the moment where the gods cried. At that moment he could only watch with horror, the horrible things that happened at that moment. And suddenly he felt a slight pressure compared to what he felt that same day, but he knew that this thing was getting closer to his kingdom. Everything began to tremble except for the boy who is tied up and the king. The king made a decision, with all his strength and at the maximum possible speed, he ran with all his might towards the cellar, picking up one of the most powerful options that he had saved for emergencies, and when he came back he brought a tablecloth, and snacks. Upon returning he untied the boy as fast as he could and poured the potion over him and sat him down, along with his subordinates. All this in less than 5 seconds. The king was agitated. It was the first time that he moved so fast in his life. And ordered his subordinates, if they want the kingdom to continue to exist, they should do the best they can. The demons were baffled, and hearing their king speak to them so firmly, as he had never done before, he gave them to understand that the current situation it was extremely careful and that a mistake would be fatal. And then the thing arrived, and he saw his child sitting at a table, apparently drinking tea together with the demon king and other demons. As quickly as the heavy and suffocating aura disappeared, the thing asked while staring at the demon king, "What are they doing?" End of dream. Long ago, a little before I met Dante. In a tree, the fairy queen and Nara had a discussion. Queen Flairy, no, she can't get out by herself, it's not safe. Yes, I know, but I'm sick of being locked up in this tree and running away from everything. I even start to think that the prophecy is a hoax, only we are left and no one else. They were all already eaten or dissected by humans. Queen can't say that. The prophecy is the only thing left for us. Without the prophecy, they would all lose hope and we would fall from grace. Yes, I know. Besides, thanks to this ring I was able to save some of the fairies from the last time we had to escape. I'm tired of everything, I no longer have strength. Please hold on a little longer, we found a place in the woods away from everything. Well, Nara, I only have energy left to activate the portal once every 3 days, we already used it recently. Well then walk. A week after joining the forest and putting together some houses to live in, the fairy queen Flairy Scarlet had escaped from the small castle that was built for her. When they realized that she was not there, they went out looking for her. But it was too late, she had been captured by the goblin general and about 25 goblins. They called all the fairies and with small weapons they went to try to rescue her, but it was useless. They attacked in the eyes of the goblins, but the orc general was different, he was much faster and more powerful. Apart from that, he used the fairy queen as a shield so that they wouldn't attack him, and in the end he grabbed the fairy queen's head and showed it to the others, so they could understand that if they moved he would take her head off. All the fairies lowered their weapons, and one flew out to look for help. The fairy queen told them to leave her and escape. They all looked at her with smiling faces. Then the queen understood that they were always together and they were going to die together. Flairy could not help but shed tears for the destiny that she herself had created for her and her companions. Meanwhile, Nara, who had escaped looking for aid. I have to fly fast, but where? I don't know anything. Quack, heath. 5 goblins are chasing me, I'm going to die. We're all going to die, because this happens to us, what we did to deserve this destination. Then I saw him, he was a human, he was humming in the middle of the forest. I have the ability to see the color of people's souls, and this human's was a unique color. It was a light purple color with sparkles, as if she were seeing the stars. It must be him, the one with the prophecy. Then I yelled, trusting everything to fate. Ki-a-a-a-a-a-a, I managed to dodge a rock that a goblin threw at me. You, human, help me, please. When the goblins look at the human, he stops and I manage to hide behind his back. The 5 goblins tried to surround the human and he instantly killed the 5 goblins. I was completely stunned by the spectacle, I couldn't believe it. I finished them off so easily. Everyone, a clap in front of me brings me out of a daze. Yaa, you, tutu, mama, you killed those goblins. No, mama is hurt. True. I'm about to cry. I'm scared, but I feel strangely safe next to this human. Despite being a human, the human answers me, calm down, I won't hurt you, apart from that I saved you. With those words I relax a bit and I remember my sisters and the queen who was captured. Yaa, human, please help me, those goblins captured my tribe, if I don't bring help soon they will eat them all, please help me, or whatever it is, I beg you, and he answers me, of course, leave it to me, I'll help you in any way I can. Just those words were enough to believe that he was the one from the prophecy, that he would save us. We quickly headed towards where the queen was captured and I can't continue. I ask the human for help and he gently charges me, whatever, what I did not feel this feeling, the feeling of being protected, the feeling of security, when you know that everything will be fine from this moment on, happiness will bring us in destiny. We arrive at the destination and see a bunch of goblins together with their leader, they are talking about eating my sisters. The human whispers to me, can you understand what they are saying, and I answer that yes, at least I vaguely understand the goblin who seems to be their leader. What I understood is that he said, that they no longer look for the rest, that with the ones they have, they will feast with their commander, and now they will leave with their booty. What are we? Schniff, schniff, schniff. He tells me to stay in the bushes to protect myself and I can't stop my heart from jumping with joy, he protect me he, but that dangerous thing scares me, what, and he answers me well, I had planned to jump in and kill them all. Kerupst. I almost yell at him and quickly cover my mouth, I scold him, you're crazy, there are many, it's very dangerous, and he answers me with a smile, don't worry, everything will be fine, trust me. Wada I can't help it, it's okay, I try to look angry but I just pout, I'll trust you and don't even think about dying, or I'll never forgive you. Then he leaves and in almost 80 seconds he finished them all, and he collapsed to the ground, my heart stopped for a few seconds, he got up, I quickly go towards the human, I thought you were going to die, sniff, sniff, sniff. Don't do something so dangerous again, you really had me very worried, He comforts me and explains what happened, apparently it was only a superficial cut and he collapsed to the ground because he used up all his mana. That reminds me that sometimes, when the queen finished opening the portal, she was exhausted, sniff, sniff, still trying holding back the tears, I try to look for my sisters and I don't see them anywhere. The human encourages me, they may be hidden in the boxes, we spent 20 minutes searching among the boxes, I heard some tiny cries, I remember those voices, it's them, I quickly notice the human, it's here, it's here, it's here, in this box, rare, are the others. When opening the bag my sisters see the human, like everyone else, and they started crying, that makes me angry, they don't realize that this is the human from the legend. I quickly approach the others and scold them, that's not true, this human saved my life and he came here to help us, he is a good human, he saved me. And I also start to cry like the others, After a long talk with the human, I find out his name, he is Dante Universo and the queen proposed to him, tick, he is taking advantage of the situation, as we are dealing with a sensitive issue, we cannot intervene, and in the end he accepts the ring from the human. Fairy King. The human, ended up opening the portal, in 30 seconds, he is much faster than the queen and shows no signs of fatigue, we gathered everything we could and kept it in the portal of the Fairy King, and inside we saw a small forest, and from lastly, the somewhat red queen entered, my sisters grabbed Flary by the shoulders so that she did not escape and we began to question her, after 10 minutes of exhaustive interrogation, Flary said with an embarrassed and slightly red tone, that she did, because she believed that Dante would be a good king for all of us and, that he was attractive. We interrogate her for 5 more minutes. After that we ended up tired and wanted to eat something, but as always, the only thing we had were plant leaves and some small and dry fruit. Before looking for food Dante opened the portal and a delicious smell entered, that's meat, our stomachs growled, the queen tried to stop us from leaving, but she was swept along with the stream of hungry fairies. When we left, we saw Dante cooking and she asked us with a smile, can they eat meat? All of them, the queen included, said at the same time yes. Then some of them quickly went into the portal to look for the utensils and plates to eat, Then Dante cut a piece for each one of us, and it had a rich smell of spices and a touch of salt. We were drooling, and some could not stand the fact that the queen from the order to eat or that he gave it, and they began to bite the meat, and to cry. They said it was delicious, they shed tears of joy. In Tonkas I could not stand the smell that tickled my nose, and I began to chew. Hitting the first bite, I could feel the juice and the soft meat. The game made my taste buds dance, and when I realized it I was taking bites of the meat. On the other hand, the queen was sitting elegantly, while we swallowed the meat, giving the first bite. She could not avoid the taste and began to eat quickly. While she was eating she realized that Dante was looking at her, and she almost choked on the food. She quickly experienced water, and embarrassed began to eat again with elegance. Dante could not resist it and in wait to laugh, and the queen more and more embarrassed. In the end we all ate more than we could. Our bellies were somewhat swollen from so much meat, and some barely finished their second or third plate. They went out and about 10 paces lay down on the ground and fell asleep. I wonder what the future holds for us. According to legend it would be happiness. I look forward to it. We have never looked forward to the next day with hope before, but now we are happy and we do not go hungry. As long as we are with Dante we will be fine.